Welcome back, everybody. In this update, we'll be taking a quick look at the tropics. Okay, this is my second outlook, my 2025 hurricane outlook and discussion. This is the second one, many more to come. But in this one, we're going to be taking a look at what we kind of talked about last time and some more details about this hurricane season. I'm still working on the forecast, but right now it's pretty quiet. I'm just going to try and keep you guys updated. And if you guys did not just see, I did post a short earlier. Thank you guys for the support. It's slowly but surely growing, and I know it's going to take a bit more time to really see that big time growth. But look, I'm here to continue to make the shorts, continue to make the YouTube videos, continue to progress in the weather career, and continue to get better and better with the thumbnails and everything. So just please hold. Please, keep me updated on how you guys feel about the videos. If it's anything I can do with the volume, with the voice, the graphics, if I can make it a little bit shorter, longer, more detailed, just let me know. If you guys are new, please like and subscribe. Once again, 250 subscribers is the goal. So let's get there, and please share this with your friends and family. But here we go, and this is the tropical outlook and discussion number 2. So to start it out is the National Hurricane Center. This is kind of going to be a every single time, in the beginning, I'm just going to show you guys National Hurricane Center no matter what, because that is a very important step into everything else. So in the next 7 days, nothing. Atlantic, nothing. Deep in the Atlantic, nothing. Subtropics, nothing. Nothing where all X's is. Once again, there is that little chance for something in the Bay Campeche over here, but kind of today I feel like that kind of died off even more, and the chances are getting, I think, personally for me, less likely, but there's still that little chance because what I've seen, the GFS was jumping with a storm yesterday here, becoming a tropical storm, going into the Bay Campeche and doing all that. Seeing the Canadian shows a tropical storm, but the GFS kind of backed off today. The Euro, went 1-0Z run with a potential tropical cyclone, but backed off too. Now what we are seeing is the wave that's going to be here is going to go kind of right into the landmass talk about. Okay, we're going to go kind of into the Eastern Pacific, and then there's a chance that now the models are starting to say maybe it crashes in Mexico and maybe it hits the Bay Campeche, but for that I can't promise that at all. But look, there's still that chance, and we're just going to have to watch. So I kind of want to actually take it right into ensembles here. Okay? Alright. Sorry about the wait, but we're going to try and make this short and simple. So European 0Z run 12Z. Come on. Update. So, for the European ensembles, really nothing too much. What I've seen is, once again, the tropical wave going here into the Eastern Pacific, kind of makes a landfall in Mexico, and then kind of sneaks in the Bay Campeche. That's something, but I don't think so. If anything, it will just die in Mexico and not come out. But you never know with the tropics, and especially it's 2025. Anything can happen, you guys. We know the deal here, all right? The 6Z, that can at least go 144 hours out. Shows the tropical cyclone in the East Pacific, and we're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to see how everything rolls, and if it goes the plan that the European ensemble show, or it goes actually in there. But something wrong here. The GFS, at this point, take it with a grain of salt, but we're gonna go to 18Z for now. And for some reason, it shows a lot of activity in the Bay Campeche. I'm not buying that. Okay, I'm not buying that. Okay, European ensembles maybe if it picks up in the 0Z runs, but we go just 336 hours out. We go all the way with the ensembles. Nothing in the MDR. Okay, I don't think anything up here. I don't really see anything big. One or two ensembles here, but we got some here. But majority is we got the Central American gyro. Okay, and I want to explain myself a little bit more on that. So basically, what that is, we're gonna make a L here. Just give me 1 second. L right here, and pretty much line it here. It's one broad area of low pressure with a lot of moisture and waves of the tropics. Sometimes we get stuff in the Bay Campeche. Sometimes we even have it more in the Caribbean where we can get it into the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico. This year so far, more on the East Pacific side. That's why we've seen four named storms. But could that change down the road? Yes. And we're going to keep an eye on it. But those are the ensembles. And for the latest models, we're just going to jump it right into it. Okay? Okay, sorry about that. Let's go right into North Atlantic. We're doing this right on the fly, so that's why I'm kind of like being quiet too in certain parts because I'm just getting some things together. But latest GFS, shows the wave there. It crashes Central America, and it never forms. Bottom line, it never forms. Okay, maybe something into a Gulf a little bit like a wave, but that's it. Then we, see it again. Another wave with the GFS crashes in America. So nothing what I'm seeing on the GFS, and that's pretty weird. Maybe in some way we get something out here, but I doubt it. I think that's just more of a wave. But this is already going 234 hours out with the GFS, and this is 0Z. So that's pretty crazy. We even have the Canadian, and for some, wow, Canadian is interesting. So Canadian, once again, does the East Pacific, makes a landfall in Mexico, actually survives, becomes a pretty good tropical depression or tropical storm that crashes into Texas. That is crazy that the Canadian is continuing to hold its ground with that. Usually it's the GFS, but that's something to watch. Okay, that's why I'm not completely eyeballing my out, but I'm not buying it. Okay, we're gonna just have to give it time here. Icon, nothing either. Just a wave into the Gulf. That's it. Okay, they all have the same idea. East Pacific kind of crashes in Mexico. So maybe tomorrow we could talk a little bit more on that of an individual video. But I might just keep it as these tropical outlooks and discussions. That's how I feel right now. But those are the latest models on that storm. And now let's take a look at the broader view. So right now we're in a pretty favorable place. By next week, we're back to no, even in the next week. And, probably by later June to July, we get into favorability. And actually pretty good favorability. And that's why I think the tropics could start waking up a little bit into July. Maybe we get one named storm in June. It will be weak and brief. Maybe not. Maybe we go whole June without nothing. Okay? Those are the bigger questions. Right now, Saharan dust is continuing across Africa. Blockbuster right now. And not really. It's some moisture. We have some breaks. But so far, we're still getting the plumes. There's still a lot of dry air and dust out there. But that's climatology. That's nothing new. We know this. Okay? We go into where we're at. and we're not even in July. Okay, July is still even low. Yeah, later July we start climbing, but August is the big, and then into September. Okay, we're only in here. Okay, we're not ready for the climb, so we're not far behind. Don't think, oh, take this with a grain of salt. I would say prepare, get your preparations. Prepare for an active hurricane season because that's what I'm forecasting right now, and that's just a hint to what could my numbers be. We're gonna average it all out. I've been looking at the data. I'm seeing how June goes. Probably post a video later June, see how it goes and how the favorability. Because what I realize is posting my outlook a little too early. We don't know what could happen in June and July. So there's just a little understanding that. We go with the GFS, and this is kind of in the long range. This is that favorability. So we're in that favorability, and once again, that does go away easily by mid-June, and that is completely away. I don't see any chance for any tropical development. Could one sneak in there? Yes, but right now, kind of looking dead all the way into the mid to late June. Yeah, maybe we get that 24th some activity back in the Caribbean and East Pacific. This time it could be even more deep, so maybe something towards the end. I don't know, but that kind of stays into the end of June. But the MDR stays pretty lock fill, and then by the end, by June 29th, we're still in a pretty good favorability with the GFS. But one thing I realized is very interesting is the Euro, because the Euro doesn't agree with the GFS. And that is pretty crazy because right now, you see how it's showing the moisture? Let's go in the end of June. Yeah, the favorability is in the East Pacific, but I don't see really anything in the Caribbean already. And we keep going. Yeah, maybe enact a little period where we're going to have a chance of development. That is possible. Both models agree. Okay? Or some favorability. But by the end of it, you know, one thing I start seeing is, look, it's not good here, but look at this, a little wave coming off Africa, and that's why I think July is going to produce some good waves, and I think some good chances for some tropical development. Okay, I I see it in the models. There's some that sneak peek stuff, and we're just gonna have to wait and see. There's one more thing I want to take a look at before I do end the video. Okay. Um, we're gonna go to the CFS. So you guys might say, why are you looking at a long range model off pivotal weather? We're gonna add this actually because I was looking at it earlier with someone, and we noticed, yeah, it's probably not good to look at in general, but in the longer range, it's probably better. So we're taking a look at the Atlantic Basin. Okay, good. Let's go forecast loop. And yeah. Okay. So I just want you guys to watch the L's and the chances. So this is 12. Yeah, that's fine with me. Don't worry about, maybe something in the Gulf. It still shows that wave, okay? That's interesting. But we get a little low off there, low right there. That kind of crashes. Nothing really happens. But watch how Africa, we get that sneaky wave. And remember, this is already, we're talking about the, wait. The 30th and the 31. Yeah, little wave there, nothing too much. Maybe we'll see. But look at another L there, one in the Gulf, and we keep going. We get another wave off Africa, and we, by the end, we got a wave up here, another wave there. We're still going with tropical activity. So maybe the Atlantic, towards the end of June into July, we're going to start waking up with some African waves. And I think the tropics in July could be much more busy than last year when we had that huge dry period where it was nothing. Okay, that's just a little information on what I'm thinking for the later tropics. But I hope I explained enough details. Sorry about the little pausing. I'll try and, edit out as much as I can. But please have a great night, you guys. Subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys in discussion number 3. Have a good night.